Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to day 2 of the Streamline Your Tech Bootcamp. I am so excited that you came back and I didn't scare you off yesterday. So, we are going to have quite an interesting day today. We're following on with the same concept of what we were doing yesterday, which is a little bit of foundational work with talking about lead magnets. So hopefully today will be a little bit more interesting, a little bit more fun, and it will definitely be a lot less writing for you. So we're going to do a little bit, but not quite as much. So we're going to talk about talk about boot camps. We're going to talk about lead magnets today. So let's go ahead and well, actually, before we dive into that, I just want to check in, and if you wouldn't mind dropping a quick note in the chat telling me, how did you find yesterday? Did you find it helpful? Did it create any insights for you into your ideal client? Do you feel like it's a little bit more refined going forward? Oh, thank heavens for coffee. Tony says, absolutely did. Awesome. I'm really glad to know that. Tracy says, very helpful. The questions were thought provoking. Yes. Excellent. All right. Well, building on that. So the first, Tony says, been procrastinating for too long. Oh, absolutely. It seems like most business owners don't want to do that part. Jane saying, yes, helpful, as I'd never seen it presented like that. Excellent. Good to know it was a little bit unique. That's always part of the goal. So the first day was the beginning of the foundation. Who are we talking to? Today, we're talking a little bit about how are we talking to them and how are we, more importantly, attracting them. So let's get into it. Actually, before I do get into it, are there any questions? No? Okay, awesome. Okay. So today we are talking about lead magnets. So let me just actually, there we go. We're talking about lead magnets. And of course, the first question is, what makes a good lead magnet? The first part is to make it relevant to your target audience. It should provide value to your ideal client and address their problem, challenge, or pain point. It needs to be specific and focused. As we talked about yesterday, it's about focusing on that one thing. Because as you know, trying to do more than one thing is going to just confuse people. So one thing, one message, one client. It should have a high perceived value, because if they feel like it's valuable, they're going to be more willing to give you their contact information and ultimately their time and hard-earned money. And it needs to be easily consumed. It needs to be quick. In this day and age, people have the attention span of a gnat, as you know. So that's why you hear things like scroll stopping headlines and attention grabbing headlines, things like that. But it also needs to be easily consumed. If it's a video, under 20 minutes, ideally under 10. I honestly try to keep mine under 5, because my content, although it can be compelling, I just don't want people to feel like I'm just going on and on to hear the sound of my own voice. I want to make it to the point and not faff around a lot. So something like a little ebook, a PDF, a cheat sheet, little videos, these are all great formats that are easily consumed for lead magnets. It needs to contain something that is actionable. They need to be able to take action. Your tips and insights need to be able to put into place immediately. So it should be well designed. Visually appealing, professional looking graphics give a great impression of your brand. So if it's, not everyone's a designer, not everyone can afford to hire a designer, but just maybe put it in Canva, add a few graphics, add a little bit of a background to make it, pop a little bit. These are little touches that not everyone will do that will definitely set your brand apart. And promote it effectively using your website, social media, any other marketing channels that you're part of. And last but not least, don't forget to kiss. Keep it simple, sweetheart. Ask for their name, their email only, Or if in the case of like this boot camp, a phone number so that you can send reminders and texts and things like that. So let me stop sharing for a second. Any questions on what constitutes a good lead magnet? Okay, cool. So moving on. What are some ideas? Actually, before we go into that one, I'm just going to ask, drop in the chat, are you currently using a lead magnet? Yes or no? Tony's, yep. And if you are using one, what are you currently using? Okay, so we got some yeses, we got some nos, and Tony's using a checklist. Awesome. Checklists are awesome because you can compare that to what you're doing and fill in those gaps, and it kind of helps guide them into where it is that they want to go. That is fabulous. All right, so let's talk about, okay, raise your hand or drop a Y in the chat if you'd like to get some ideas for lead magnets. Yeah, I have for you 15 suggestions for lead magnets that will take less than 30 minutes. Oh, and before I forget, here is the link to the worksheet so that you can make notes, but you don't have to write all of the ideas down because they're in the worksheet. Okay, so I want you to stay with me, but definitely make some notes. So let's talk now, and all of these in theory should be able to be put together in less than 30 minutes. Does that sound good? Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Now I wouldn't recommend trying to do all of these. I would pick one, maybe two, and build those out and then see if there are any others that you want to try. So let's look and see what your favorites are going to be. All right, so let's go back to that. And let's talk about some lead map, some samples. Sorry, I forgot to change the title on that one. So some samples of good lead magnets. A complimentary coaching session. We're pretty much all coaches here, so just give like a 30-minute sample of what of a very brief sample of what your sessions are like, so that people know how you work and what you do and if they would enjoy it. An ebook or guide, for example, 10 steps to landing your dream job. A webinar or video series, and that can be a short little thing that you've put together. So maybe you had a project like this that was a longer one. You go in, you take little video snippets out of that, and you create an email sequence that is, 5 videos to getting better food habits or whatever. A quiz or assessment. I don't know why. I am one of them. People love taking quizzes. I absolutely love it. Whenever I get those emails saying, hey, how was our service at whatever, at least half the time I'll usually fill it out, even though it's just feedback. But people love being asked for their opinion or things like that. I have found that a lot of my best engaged posts on Facebook are things like, would you go to the mountains or the beach on vacation? Or or little things like that, and it's like the most stupid stuff, but people love it. It's crazy. A checklist or template. So Tony, how are you going with the checklist that you've been using on social media? Could you just drop in the chat how that's going for you? Are you getting a lot of engagement? Are you getting a lot of return on that? And Tony's saying she just has a quiz that she created yesterday. Awesome. Oh, so she just published it and no real results yet. Okay, no worries. Be interesting to see how that goes. A podcast or audio series. People enjoy podcasts. My husband and I actually do one for the Big Bang Theory called the Perpetual Motion Squad, and it's really taken off over the last few months. It's insane. Oh, Tracy's and thanks, Tracy. Tracy has been listening to the Perpetual Motion Squad. It's a lot of fun. We really enjoy ourselves doing it. And Tony says, I have a podcast ready to go, just too scared to launch it. Oh, that's awesome, Tony. If you need some support around that, I'm definitely happy to have a conversation about our journey with podcasting and help save you some of the mistakes that we made. Okay, so the next one is turning a high performing blog or social media post into a PDF. Again, you can edit that in Canva to make it more eye catching and add a little bit more information to kind of build it out a little bit. But if you have a post that did extremely well, an informational post, turn that into a PDF that you can give away. That's a really easy thing to do. Give away transcripts. Oddly enough, there are people who would prefer to read than watch videos. I have to admit, it drives me nuts when people send me voice messages on Facebook Messenger, because most of the time I'm not in a place where I can listen to it, and I can read a lot faster than they can talk. So I'm one of those who does like to actually read, but some people prefer the transcript to actually watching the video. There are ways to do that. There are ways to add captions to things. So if that's something that you're interested in, I'm also happy to have a conversation about things like that. Same thing. And then there are some people who would rather listen than read. So make a collection of related blog posts and dictate it into your phone and make recordings. Or if you have a desktop computer, Audacity is a great program to record things in, because it's really easy to edit them once you've recorded them. Again, quick checklist. And this can be almost, yeah, absolutely. This is the whole point. Repurpose your content 100%, Tony, because it is not reinventing the wheel. You do not have to come up with unique content every time. If you have 6 months worth of social media posts, you can go back, edit, rework, and put a different image with it and use a lot of the same content over and over. Because honestly, what posts do you remember from 6 months ago? So a quick checklist, almost anything, how to, must have, can't miss. And Canva has some great templates for using checklists. Not advertising Canva, not getting any referral points here, but it's just a really amazing program to use. Does anybody use Canva? Drop a C in the chat if you're currently using Canva. Yeah. Yeah, Tracy, I love Canva too. I really do. That's why I talk about it. So showcase your best in show content with a swipe file. Sometimes it's sales letters, emails, blog posts, whatever's been really working for you. You can keep a record of those, keep them in a file, and then put them out as a lead magnet and say, hey, these are some things that have really worked well for me. If you take it, add your own spin and your own sparkle and your own magic, it's going to work for you too. Or like a list of best tips to XYZ. Not everybody, though, is a creative. We don't all like the pretty pictures and the everything else. There are people out there who just like the numbers. So having something that can deliver the analytics to those very left brain people, things like spreadsheets, schedules, like the social, there are people I know out there who put out social media schedulers. Absolutely love those. People who are very analytical love the structure, and they love it when you put out posts and lead magnets that will give them more structure. And so I'm not sure what you mean by upgraded, Tony. Is that do you mean you're on the Canva Pro? Mm. Yeah, I took the leap and went to Pro too. You can absolutely 100% run the graphics of your business in Canva Basic and the free version of Canva. It's absolutely amazing, but you do get a few perks for that paid version. And I took the leap and did that about a year ago, and I've actually found that I don't want to live without it now. So it is one more expense that I have to have. But yeah, but the free version is really amazing. And it's definitely well worth getting to know it if you're not already using it. So the next one is to give away parts of your product or service. I'm not saying the whole thing, but like a sneak peek of a course or a membership program. Because what you want to do is show them the value that's going to be in that program, and have them thinking, if this is what I'm going to get for the taster, just imagine what would be in the full program. It's so worth it. Absolutely. So again, just a mini training or something from that larger program, a sample of your services, again, like that complimentary coaching call or just a get to know you call, a chapter of your book, or some templates. Never underestimate the value of templates. I work, as you know, I work with sorry, I haven't had enough coffee yet this morning. I work with a technology platform, and I know people who sell ready-made templates that you just customize for your business. And those templates go anywhere from $50 to $150 a piece. And it's like, wow, okay. So never underestimate the value of a template. Procure a list, a list of subject lines for emails, a must-have, must-read, must-watch list, a list of your favorite things. So, for example, for someone like me working in technology, it might be a list of my favorite productivity hacks or my favorite tools that I like to use, or, things like that. In fact, one of my most popular social media posts was when I asked people, do you use a social media scheduler? And then I also asked, what are your favorite technology tools? Those were two of my most popular posts. People love being asked for their opinion. Your top tips for doing something, your strategies for doing something, some, 5 quick strategies to get you online with your food, five top strategies to having a great interview, and questions to ask before XYZ. So questions to ask to qualify your clients to see on a discovery call to see if you want to work with them. Not if they want to work with you, if you want to work with them. Because I always say that business and trying to find clients is a lot like dating. Everybody's putting their best foot forward, and we're doing this dance to find out if we're a good match to be together. Give away your how-tos. And think of these like recipes, not necessarily cooking, although it can be if you're a cook. But it's how to step by step, like I might do how to step by step create an event on Eventbrite, and make that it's sort of like a checklist, but it's the do this step, then make sure you do this step, then this step, then this step. And it takes them all the way through that process. Little known trade secrets. This is how you can really build out your expertise. These are, over the past 5 years, this is what I've discovered. These are mistakes to avoid. These are things that I've learned over the last 5 years of working with this demographic, that these are things that you can do to not fall into that same trap. And then showcase your best offers and knowledge. Really kind of put that together, put it out there saying, look, if you want to achieve this, these are the things that you're going to need to know how to do. And here are the ways that I can help you do that. Give away your own personal routine. Things like overcoming imposter syndrome, feeling refreshed in the morning, productivity hacks. What are those things that you do that make you successful, that other people can find value in? It may sound a little silly. In fact, I think it really does sound a little silly, but I learned this trick, and I can't remember if I talked about this yesterday morning or yesterday night, but before I come into my event, I take what I call the Superman pose, which is basically standing with my legs apart, my fists on my hip, and my chest up and my head back. And I just stand there for about 5 minutes, and I just soak in that posture. And it makes me feel a lot more confident coming into my presentations. So that's something that I would put on as part of my personal routine when I'm hosting a webinar. I do my pose, which is also a little bit of a meditation, my power pose. And then I come in, I play some music to get myself really excited for it. I look myself in the mirror and tell myself that I've got this. All these little things that I do to prepare for my presentation so that I am at my best when I come to spend my time with you. Turn your content into an infographic. There are people out there who just love the graphs and the pretty pictures. So take that complex information, take those statistics, and put them into fun and friendly, simple graphics, because there are a lot of people out there that love that information and want to see it, but they just don't get the numbers. But they get the pictures, the pie charts, the bar graphs, the whatever. They love those images. Give away your presentations. So let's say you're doing a presentation on email productivity and the slide deck is valuable. You can absolutely trim that up, put a few bits and pieces on it, and do that as a giveaway. The formula inside of your presentation, how you put it all together, what goes into it, even just a sample of the slide deck, a little mini part of it, saying, okay, in this entire presentation, we talked about weight management, food, diet, cooking, all of these things, but I'm going to give you the slides for the recipes. Okay. Your top frequently asked questions. Whenever you're meeting with clients or potential clients, make a list, make note of all the questions that they ask you, and then put those into an FAQ. And this is valuable for two reasons, because obviously you are meeting the need that they are coming to you for, and you're answering and you're getting the questions of what they don't quite understand, but you're also getting the questions to be able to answer them in their language. How are they asking it? What are the words they're asking it? And being able to put that back to them. Give away a valuable video clip. So you may be doing a presentation or a live or something, and you can snip out parts of that are extremely valuable. Let's say yesterday I wanted to talk about that quote by Anais Nin, and I could take that little section of that video, make a little snippet, and do that as a lead magnet to say, if you want to understand how to overcome the fear of growth, here's how we can do that. Ideally, you want to keep it under 20 minutes because people start to get a little antsy if it's more than that. So short, sweet, to the point, and high value content. But make sure you include a call to action at the end of it. Even if it's a comment, a book a call now, whatever that is, download this other thing, whatever you want, make sure you include a call to action and capture their information at the end of that. And then finally, number 15, your top or favorite resources or tools. And if you have affiliate links with them, so let's say, for example, Canva, if they had an affiliate program, I would be posting a link to Canva with my affiliate link now so that you could sign up to them with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you that lovely little couple of minutes to make some notes on the lead magnets that we've talked about. And when we come back, I'm going to be asking you for what are your top 3 choices of something that you would like to try and focus on this week for a lead magnet. Okay, welcome back. How'd everybody go? And I want to thank Tony for looking up the pricing for Canva. It's $9.95 a month or about $120 annually in Australian dollars. So in America, it's going to be about $75, I think, a year, give or take. So thanks for looking that up. And all right, so what are your top two or three lead magnets that you thought were fun that you want to try? Okay, Jane saying the templates. Okay, interesting. What kind of templates would those be? What would they be for, Jane? Costing templates. Excellent. That could be really valuable. Let me know when you put those out. Tracy says, I like the idea of a mini video series, but scares the bejesus out of me, though. We can work on that. We can help with that. I know this great mindset coach. Her name's Tracy. She has this place called the Wellness Room in Marimula. Risha's saying assertiveness hacks, time management hacks, and to-do list template. I like the assertiveness hacks. That sounds really interesting to me. That idea of, and my husband and I were actually talking about this the other day when we were watching TV, that this one character we liked was incredibly strong woman, and she was very assertive, but she didn't come across as a bitch. And I think that walking that tight line and having that balance of being assertive without being accused of other things is invaluable. Just so, so valuable. 100%. Okay. So let me ask you this. Did you enjoy the list of potential lead magnets? Did you find that helpful? Awesome. Excellent. Okay. So I am, believe it or not, that's pretty much what I've got for today. We're running way early. I thought this would take a lot longer than it did. So I am going to ask you to share your highlights from today. What are like your favorite things that you got from today? Oh, Tony's saying a passion audit checklist. I like the sound of that. That sounds fun. These all sound great. So it is yeah, let's try that again. Are there any highlights for you? Is there anything that really stood out for you today? Jane says it stimulated some ideas. Yeah, that was basically the idea, is to let's get those creative juices flowing. So like I said, it's about starting with some she hadn't thought. Tony says some I hadn't thought of. Yeah, me too. When I started putting together this list, it's like, oh, I hadn't thought about doing that. The whole repurposing content idea is a little bit not new to me, but I always forget about it. And Tracy says brings creativity to the forefront. That's the whole idea, is to get those things flowing to make you want to go, hey, you know what? I've got an extra hour today. I'm going to spend some time working on some of this stuff while it's really germinating. Excuse me. Risha says loads of ideas, things I hadn't thought of. Tony says using Facebook posts for content. Yeah, 100% repurposing that content is like you have a gold mine that's already there. So why not make use of it, right? Yep, absolutely. 100%. All right. So for those who are on the replay, there is the link for the document. And the home play today is to find three options of a lead magnet that you can implement immediately. And please post your choices in the Facebook group and make sure that you've downloaded the lead magnet worksheet if you haven't already done that. Okay, so I'll leave that up there for just a moment. And boom. Okay, So today we are running a little bit early. So you're going to get some. So I would say take the extra half an hour that you'd booked out to spend with me and work on those lead magnets while they're still really fresh and it's really exciting in your mind and it's creating those lovely endorphins. Because tomorrow, I'll tell you now, is when we're going to really get into the whole why are you here? We're going to be starting to talk about business technology, what you need, how much does it cost, and some options that are going to hopefully make a lot of sense for you. It's going to be a really intense, kind of heavy day. So I'd say definitely stock up on the coffee. And the rooms do open 15 minutes prior. So if you want to drop in a little bit, we'll be hanging out, we'll be socializing, and just making sure that the Zoom is all working correctly. And I'm going to try and keep it on time tomorrow, but depending on how it goes, is a slight possibility that we might run just a few minutes over. So just be aware of that. And I understand that if you need to leave, you can absolutely do that. So before I wrap up, I just want to ask, are there any last questions or comments that anybody has? Okay, great. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today for day 2 of the Streamline Your Tech Bootcamp, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow.